Today we continue looking at the causes of depression and suicide and this deaths of despair that we hear so much about. Between 2007 and 2017, drug-related deaths increased by 108% among adults ages 18 to 34, while alcohol-related deaths increased by 69% and suicides increased by 35%, according to a Senate report based on the facts given by the Centers for Disease Control. Now, what are some of the causes of depression and suicide? We're going to look at these in the next few weeks, but let's start with the most obvious one that is prominent in Christian circles. There's a lot of misunderstanding about it. It's sin. It could be open sin. It could be private sin. It could be unconfessed sin. It could be lack of faith. If your problem is unconfessed sin in your life, no amount of drugs or alcohol will make it better. But let me say this, if your problem is more than just sin, then you need to get that taken care of, and we'll talk about that in another video. But often well-meaning Christians will say, if you're depressed, then you should just pray more. If you believe more and work through everything, everything will be okay. And so we have people tell us this, and we believe this lie ourselves. But we need to understand, prayer is not a substitute. If we have the attitude, well, if I'm just feeling this way, or if I'm, just in a funk, I'll just pray about it and everything will get better. Prayer should never be seen as a substitute or a last resort. When someone is incredibly ill, we rush them to the hospital. We don't leave them on the floor convulsing or bleeding out as we pull out a Bible and say a little prayer. Now listen, I understand, looks like you're in a lot of pain. But if you just pray, everything will be better. Just pray through this. Everything will be fine. I mean, when it comes to matters of life and death, of health and illness, it is not a denial of God's power to call on science. My word, how many of you have medicine in your cabinet, in your home right now because of a medical issue? It is amazing that the same people that will tell you that you should just pray about it, that depression is not a problem, are the same ones that take medicine for blood pressure and for diabetes and whatever problem they may have. All rational believers admit that the fall of man has had long-term effect on humanity. And we know that all disease and ultimately death is because of the fall of Adam. But let me say this, not all sickness is caused by a personal sin, but because we live in a sin-wrecked body, it's just going to happen. But if sin can and does affect the body, why do we deny that it can also affect the mind? Why are so many people deny that they have a problem, or deny that the problem could be a chemical imbalance and needs to be treated with medication and counseling? It's ridiculous to think that and to preach that. Now, it's also worth noting this. Not everyone can be cured. For many, it's more about healthy forms of management, and that cannot happen with one prayer. Now, I understand miracles can happen, but don't hedge your bets on that. But you can manage your depression with proper Christian and continuous counseling. Now listen, I am sick and tired of living in this culture of death. From abortion to drugs to the promotion of unacceptable lifestyles, we are falling deeper and deeper into a pit. And I'm tired of us as believers sitting around and letting people suffer through their own personal hell, and we do nothing about it but shake our heads and wonder how bad the world really is and how it got in this shape. Listen, we can make a difference. And if you're dealing with depression today, let me let me leave you some simple steps that you can take.